Hey, everybody. Christopher, Rocky. Hello, Rocky. Bismarck, the seventh son. Hello, hello. Good to have you all. Bitcoin portfolio. Hello. Oh man, Yaya's here. Good to see you, my friend. Hello, Hugo. Steve. Okay, I think people are just starting to join. So I think we should give a few minutes for a few more people. Bosman, hello there. Gene, good to have you all. Happy Sunday. GTF, buddy. Always good to see you. Oh man, thanks for joining me. It is a Sunday, and most of you guys are probably watching football. But yeah, thanks for taking the time to join me here. Oh, Bitcoin got a hold of the white tie. Oh man, that's awesome. I'm growing that all year long. So I'm growing some of the white tie right now in my Era garden right there. So yeah, good stuff. Chaz Tech, thank you very much. Okay, guys, today, as usual, please feel free to ask questions about anything. I say let's talk about indoor gardening because it is November, it's almost mid-November. And so, gardening outside is probably in many places is no longer can be done. So, a lot of the times people are either taking this inside or, doing some indoor gardening. How is my hydro, indoor hydro? The indoor is doing great. GTF, I just started a new project for my indoor hydroponic right now. So in a few um, weeks, I'm gonna have a ton of lettuce, like lots and lots of lettuce. Like usually I don't get lettuce this time of the year, but because of the indoor growing and hydroponic and stuff like that, I always get fresh lettuce, right, like in December, January, February, like basically all year long. So it's a cool thing. So if you guys ever want to get to in growing indoor, uh, it's a good thing to do. Go ahead and try it out. The lights are so much less expensive than they used to be, so you can grow a lot of things. I mean, you can get like a grow light for like under $200, and it'll pay for itself in very little time because there's so much you can do. You can grow lettuce, you can grow microgreens. I love growing microgreens, guys. They are some of the most healthy plants to grow. Um, at this time of the year or whenever. How many lettuce plants do you grow indoor? Right now I'm growing, let's see, 16. I'm growing 16. Normally when I grow lettuce, I have to grow a lot because, I grow them in a 27 gallons. And, lettuce plants only take 1 gallon per plant. And I have a 27 gallons, so I have to try to fit as many plants in there as possible, to utilize up all of the space. And also, I always grow more because I give them out. I never use all of them because there's just too much. And plus, when you grow lettuce, you don't harvest the whole lettuce plant, the lettuce head, you just harvest a few leaves that you need. And so they produce like for a long time, like for a few months, and you get lettuce fresh every day. So that's the cool thing about growing lettuce. You don't have to harvest it the whole thing. Just cut a few leaves every day, and then you're good to go. GTF, your cat ate the spinach. Wow, I guess your cat loves vegetable. Let's see. I should go to the comment section, see if I missed anything. Yeah, when you grow lettuce, you don't have to invest a lot because you can grow the Cracky method. Cracky method works great. I've done so many videos on how to do cracking method lettuce. It works just as well as the DWC. So there's really no need for you to invest more money on buying those the pumps, to pump air into the unit. It works just fine. So I highly recommend it. It's again, lettuce only takes 1 gallon of water for the entire cycle. So one plant, 1 gallon. If you have a few gallons, then you have a few plants. So it's very easy. I would start with romaine. Romaines are really easy to grow. They grow very fast, and they're also very cold hardy. So sometimes in my garage, the temperature drops pretty low, like in the mid 40s sometimes. And lettuce like romaine and stuff, they don't care. They just grow like crazy. Do I have experience with banchis? I do a little. I don't do too much, but yes, I have done some banchi before, and it works fine. It just when you trim, of course, it takes constant trimming and training the plants, but also you need a good amount of lights too, depending on what kind of plant you're trying to do banchis out of, like pepper plants or whatever. They do require a lot of lights, like 8 hours at least. Also the intensity, they need good intensity. David, do you measure ppfd for growing lights, and do you consider it as a relevant for peppers overwintering growing indoors from seeds? Yes. I usually don't measure ppfd to the extent that most people do. Sometimes when you buy the light, it gives you the ppfd reading on those charts. But pepper plants, if you're looking to overwinter only, then you don't need the really really expensive light, because basically overwintering is meaning to keep them alive and not growing until the next season. That way, uh, they're not dead, and when you take them outside, they'll start to grow. But if you're starting to grow them from seeds and you want a full size plant that produce and stuff like that, yes, ppfd is very important. Uh, you just need the correct intensity for pepper plants, and also the size of your tent too, and what else you have in there. Normally I always overcrowd my plants, so that's where the ppfd matter, because wherever you put the plants, like say the light is right here, if you put it directly underneath it, it gets the most amount of light. But if you put it to the side, then it gets a little light. So yeah, it depends on how you're growing it and where you're putting the plants and how many plants you have in there, what kind of lights you have. How is my tobacco? My tobacco is awesome. I rolled my first cigar the other day, and it was really cool. It was probably the most difficult thing to do, because I did it all wrong, but it's a good learning experience. Yeah, growing tobacco and growing cigar is a lot of fun. I think I showed the cigar in my last live. It was a decent sized cigar. What is the hottest pepper I have ever grown? The Carolina Reaper. Actually, I have something that's really hot right now. Let me show you. Here we are. This one here. Look at this, guys. So this one fell off the plant early when it was still green. So because I love the way it looks, I put it on my counter so that it can ripen up a little bit more. And I'm going to take the seeds out of this. This is a Jay's Peach Goes crossed with a Primo. Look at that. Crazy looking. So yeah, um, I grew Reapers. I grew Primos. That Primos are very hot. I grew, let's see, Death Spirals. Man, the Death Spiral is really hot. Let's see, I mean, basically most of the super hots that you can name, I probably grew at one time. Tobacco needs to be cured for a week in the oven. Yes, tobaccos do need to be cured. First, you dry it. The process is called, uh, what was it? Is it cure? Yeah, you got to cure it first. So basically, curing it is drying it to remove the green color out of it. And once the green is removed, guys, it smells so good. Like when you dry tobacco, it transitions from the green leaves to yellow, and it smells like bananas. It's amazing. And then after the drying process, if you want to make cigar, then you have to ferment it further. The fermenting process is a very difficult process. It could take, from a few weeks to a few months, and the high-end cigar takes about 4 years. So that is the reason why cigars are very expensive in some certain brand, because the process takes a long time. Wow, we have a lot of interest in cigars right here. Actually, let me. Where is my cigar? Here we go. So here's the tobacco leaf that I dried. These have been cured already, but it hasn't been fermented. Smells amazing. Oh, here's my cigar. Actually, look at that. Yeah, fermented cigar or fermented tobacco smells amazing, guys. It brings out much more of the aroma than just simply drying it. Disco Bear, you love to smoke it. Yeah, it smells really nice. The process that I use to ferment the leaves is a water bath. I did a water bath, and I set the temperature to 115 degrees Fahrenheit, and I bathed the tobacco leaves in there, and I left it there for like, I think, 2 weeks. Man, it brings out all kinds of different aroma to the smell. It's amazing. Yeah, tobacco seeds are really easy to save, because one of the pod from the tobacco seeds can give you like a few hundred little tiny seeds, and I've harvested like probably like a few 100,000 seeds already. I don't even need that much. Anyway, cheers, guys. Happy Sunday. Thanks for joining me. So right now, I'm actually in the process of drying peppers to make powder. And so once I get the powder ready, then I'm gonna make beef jerky out of it. Yeah, it's beef jerky with super hot, guys, are amazing. You guys got to try it. GTF said the worst plant of ours to chew was aloe vera. Aloe vera is not toxic uh, if you remove the aloin, which is the yellowish substance in there. And basically, what you do is you cut the aloe leaf and then just soak it in water, and then the substance will come out. That yellowish, oranges substance is what makes it could give you stomach upset and all that stuff. But after you drain that out, you can consume aloe with not no issues. I eat aloe all the time. I grow like about 20 plants in the backyard, and I think I've been eating aloe for like the past few months now. Aloes are amazing. Is it toxic for animal? I'm not sure. I don't think any animals that I have ever eaten the aloe. But the aloe plants that I grow, man, they are enormous. They're huge. The leaves are like just like the size of my hand. And I grow three different varieties of Barbadensis Miller. And the funny thing is they all taste different. But I use the aloe for like making desserts, making drinks. I put it on my skin. And every time I get a cut or like or like sunburn and stuff like that, I just go outside and slice the aloe and just rub it on, and it literally just healed it like the next day. Like you don't feel the sunburn. Johnny, if you're doing a paper towel method for growing peppers, is it better to do it under light or dark? The seeds don't need light to sprout, but as soon as they sprouted, you're gonna have to introduce them to light. So might as well put it under light to give you the best result. What's up, Aaron? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining me. Cheers, Leon. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, Aaron. Guys, so today I also did a lot of seed saving. So I went outside to my pepper plant, and I'm very picky. So I go to each of the plant and I pick the best looking pods to save seeds from. So I did a lot today. I mean, I think my hand is really spicy. But yeah, I did some seed saving for next year. So I think I have some over there. And then I also did my hydroponic plants. Yeah, guys, let me show you. Here is my winter project, guys. Have you ever, if you guys follow me, I do a lot of mini hydroponic systems like this. And this is how I cross my peppers. So let's say I have two different varieties that I grow. You see, it's very simple. So I grow two different varieties, and once they produce pods, I take the pollen and I breed them. And so that's how I breed peppers, and I get like amazing results, guys, because it's in a controlled climate, which is indoor gardening. You can control the climate. In the house is always nice and warm, so the peppers will grow all year long. And then when I cross them in hydroponic, I can control, the what I do with them and how they grow and stuff like that. So I always get the best success. So people ask, hey, how do you create so many different varieties in such a short period? And this is exactly how I do it. It doesn't take very long for the plants to get this big, and also it doesn't take very long for the plants to produce fruits and flowers and stuff like that. So you can grow a ton of plants in a very small space. Jimmy, Mr. Jimmy. Oh, guys, I gotta show up my shirt. This is the Pepper Guru shirt. You guys ever seen the Pepper Guru? He has a YouTube channel. I think he goes by Rich Blood, but he has amazing knowledge. But I love this shirt. I wear it everywhere. The Pepper Guru. Sometimes he comes. He joined us on the stream, but I haven't seen him today. Let's see. Steve Rogers. Hello, my friend. Good to see you back. Is that your actual name, or is it from Steve Rogers from Captain America? I'm a big Marvel fan, guys. I love comics, Marvels, DC, everything. Have I tried the Philippines bird chili? Yes. Is it the labuyo? If you talk about the labuyo, I've grown it many years before. I love that variety. I have the white labuyo and the regular ones. I grow them all the time. Actually, my parents are growing them right now. That's awesome, Steve. So yes, your brother was a Marvel comic book when you were a kid. Okay, cool. That's awesome. You're named after Steve Rogers, Mr. Captain America. David, have you seen the community project on pepper breeding for creating peach ahi cherpita and peach Brazilian starfish? No, I have not seen that. That would be cool. I love cherpitas. Cherpitas are awesome pepper to grow. They're like little tiny firecracker. They produce a ton. The great starfish. I'm growing the red starfish right now, and I have a whole bunch of them. I've been eating them for weeks. Um, Brazilian starfish is probably like one of my favorite variety. They taste amazing. Hello, Sheena. Good to see you. Sheena, thanks for doing all those comments. I've actually read a few of your comments, so I do recognize your name. Good to have you here today. How long do you dry your seeds for? You can just dry it for like a two days. Oh, yeah, actually 24 hours. You should be good to go. But normally, if you want to grow the seeds, I would say dry it for like 24 hours, and then you can put it in the soil. You know, the people asked, can you grow the seeds directly out of the peppers? Yes, you can. You can do that. But normally, I like to dry them first because I think drying seeds help them develop this coating around the protecting the inside of the seeds. So when you put it in the ground, it kind of like act as a protective barrier against bacteria and stuff like that. So, also against mold and everything, because wet seed, you ever notice that wet seeds can develop mold, but the dry seeds will not have mold. So that's one of the reasons. Win Lee, what is a good potting soil from Home Depot or Lowe's to start out seeds? Or Amazon. Oh, if you want to only for starting seeds, you can buy the seed starting mix. Buy those in the small bag. They sell it on the inside. The reason I say that is because if you buy those, they keep them inside, and you're less likely to get bugs and fungus gnats and all that stuff because the bags are stored inside and it's also enclosed. The bags that are sitting outside, when you in those shelves and stuff like that, sometimes they could be torn or like they could be rained on, and then bugs will get in, and you get all these kinds of fungus gnats. If you buy those and grow in your grow tent or whatever, or bring them inside. That's how you introduce gnats to your grow room. So I normally buy those little, if you're gonna start seeds right now, because it's pretty late in the year, normally people do it inside. So buy those the seed starting mix from inside that has no holes in it. That way, you're less likely to have fungus gnats, and it works really well because they have a really nice mixture of coco coir and all these other stuff that allows the soil to retain water and help you with starting your seeds. Yeah, black go is great. I think they're a little bit expensive because they're expensive for a reason. They have really good mixture for growing any plants, peppers or vegetable. Hey there, Drew. Good to have you, Drew. Thanks for joining me. That's great. Yeah, you're starting to see a change because of the change in season. Yes. Towards the end of the year, pepper plants used to tend to do really well. The reason is, the weather is calming down. It's cooler, but also peppers tend to try to push out as many pods as possible before the winter arrives, so that it can secure the offsprings and stuff like that. So that's why normally towards the end of the year when it gets cold, you're going to start to see all kinds of peppers on your plants. Have you ever fermented pepper seeds like people do with tomatoes? No. For peppers, you don't need to ferment because the reason is pepper doesn't have that little gooey coating like tomato does. Tomato has this gooey coating, and fermenting it helps remove that coating so that you can collect the seeds easier. But peppers, pepper seeds, you don't need that. They're just pretty easy to collect, and they're dry already. So as soon as you take them out, you don't have to do anything else. They don't have that goo that protect them or surround the seeds coating. So yeah, you don't need to ferment the pepper seeds. Oh, Arsenic is here. Good to have you, my friend. Let's see. Have you grown Cherapon Amarillo? Is that Cherapon Amarillo? I haven't grown that, but I have grown Ahi Amarillo. Is that the same thing? The thing is, there's so many different names. I'm not sure if they're the same or not. I wish people would stop doing that. Take the same pepper plant and rename it. It's horrible because then it confuses everybody. If it's actually different, then yeah, I can see the different name. But if it's the same, don't rename it. Keep it the original name. It respect the original creator. But yeah, it bugs me like crazy when somebody takes the name of a pepper and then rename it to something else. What am I drinking? I am drinking Guinness. I love Guinness. Drought. Guinness Stout. Tastes like coffee. Oh, cool. It is a completely different pepper. It's cool. That's great. I have not grown that, but I have grown the Ahi Amarillo, and I do like them. It's very nice and sweet. Tastes great. Oh yeah. So for those that have missed it, we're talking about indoor gardening earlier. So this time of the year is the best time to start growing inside because it's getting cold. Oh, Steve Roger, I maybe you missed it. Look, I'm working on it. So here we go. So I have two pepper plants of two different varieties here, and I'm gonna cross them very soon. So that's usually how I do it. I grow them really small, keep them inside, and use them as my crossing projects. I have a few other ones that I'm working on over there in my Aero Garden and the MTN grow stations. I have white tie grown here. It has like 100 pods over there. I mean, I get pods all the time, guys. All I have to do is go to the station over there, and then I just grab a pepper. Maybe I'll show it to you guys because people always ask for to see that. I'll show it to you guys. Look at this. So I'm gonna get rid of this plant. That's why you see how it's kind of dried up because I didn't refill the system. I'm letting it drain up all of the nutrients, and then I'm gonna let it just dry out, and then I'm gonna collect these pods right here for seeds. This is it's isolated, so it's a cool thing. So I'll get these isolated seeds, pods, and stuff like that. You see how the leaves are all yellow? That's because there's no more liquid in here. I'm letting this dry up, and then I'm gonna harvest everything, and then I'm gonna start over. But I've had like I think over 100 pods off of this plant already. I mean, every single day I pull 3 or 4 off to eat, and they just keep growing back. I mean, they're just crazy. So pods are all over the place. You see even the pods that I didn't collect, they're all dried right now. So these are for seeds and stuff. So the white ones here, these are for I'm gonna use these, and the red ones I'm gonna collect them for seeds and have them as isolated plants. Yeah. So there, those are my peppers. Um, yeah, the plant looks amazing a few weeks ago. Right now, it doesn't look as good because, of course, it's dying because I'm not feeding it. There's no more nutrients in there. The liquid is all gone. Yeah, if you guys haven't grown the white Thai, it's a must grow. I love it. It tastes amazing. Um, in if you try Thai foods or Asian foods and stuff like that with the white Thais, you're gonna get addicted. It's an awesome variety. You can eat them, raw. You can cook with them. But I love them when they're like a pearl color, like the whitish starting to change a little bit. That's the best time to use them. Jeannie, I love indoor garden. Yes, indoor gardens are awesome. Micro dwarf tomatoes. Tomatoes are fun to grow, especially when you're growing inside, because they grow so fast, and then you can actually see the fruits grow. Chris, Chris, did you just see the system that I showed? Your system? Guys, the system that I just showed you guys, that is actually made by Christopher Bransdaw. He's right here in the chat. He made that system from scratch, from basically developed it. He developed the whole thing using 3D print, and he built basically the entire unit, and that's what I've been using to grow a lot of my plants. So yeah, Chris, thanks again, buddy. I love the unit. I have a new project that I'm gonna work on this winter using the same system. So I'm very excited about that. Chris, man, where have you been? We need to talk. Chris and I use to chat very often, but he's been so busy. Frank, what type of pepper is that? That is the Kangstar White Thai. Yeah, we do need to catch up. You know what? I thought about messaging you today, but I figured like you're busy. But yeah, we need to talk soon and catch up and maybe do some live together. What sort of heat is the white Thai? The heat is very it's not super hot. It's around, I would say, 150,000 Scoville heat units. It's very similar to the regular Thai, maybe a little bit hotter. Where can you buy the unit or get the 3D print? Christopher Bransdaw, right above you, right there in the chat. He's the one that created it. Um, I think he talked about um, you know ha having the code available for everybody to use, open source it. Chris is working on some electronic for hydroponics tonight. Oh man, that would be cool. Yes, Chris, whatever you want to send me, buddy. I love it. Jimmy, thank you so much, my friend. I do respect that. You're the man. Oh, guys, people have been asking about seeds. Jimmy Pickles here. He actually sells seeds, so check him out. He has some really good stuff. Mike, if I eat any of these peppers live, I might have to end the stream very soon because I think everyone knows that I can't handle that much heat. Yeah, guys, if you want to know more about the unit that I just showed, Christopher Branzo is in the chat right here. Just check him out. He has a YouTube channel, also Facebook. He probably gonna share with you some of his how he built the unit. Guys, it's an awesome unit. I have two AeroGardens, and I have the MTN grow stations, which Chris created, right next to each other. And everyone that comes to my house, they always like, "What is that unit?" The MTN grow stations, and the reason is it's very beautiful. It's like I get to choose the color, so I chose black and white, and it looks like an iPhone. That's how cool it looks. It sort of like had the theme of a very slick iPhone futuristic systems, you know. So it looks much nicer than the AeroGuard. So if you guys haven't seen it side by side, browse my channel. I did a video on it recently, and you can see how beautiful it looks. It's a great unit. And Chris gave it to me as a gift a while ago, and I've been using it ever since he sent it over. Yeah, Chris, you need to start updating the stuff that you have. Chris has been busy, so he's working so hard. Trini, hello, hello. Good to have you here. The unit is not for sale because he just made two, one for me and one for him. Um, I mean, I think if Chris makes it for sale, it'll be awesome. It's very powerful. It's a small system. It's 100 watts, so it's like almost triple the wattage of the AeroGarden. The AeroGarden is just 40 watts. So a lot of the times when you grow in AeroGarden, you have to keep the light hood like basically here's like say here's the plant. The AeroGarden light hood has to be just like this in order for it to be enough. When I grow Chris's unit, I set the light 40%, not even 100%, 40%, and the hood has to be this high because it is just too powerful. So yeah, and everything can be controlled on your iPhone. So it's pretty neat. You just control the the intensity of your light when it comes on and off. You can also turn on your pump and turn off your pump as well whenever you want. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So again, Chris made it as a hobby project because he saw, the AeroGarden unit, and he's a tech guy. So he's like, maybe I can try to make my own and see what happens. And that's how that's how that happened. So yeah, it's a great system. I think I like it much more than the AeroGarden. It's just because it looks so much better, and also it's much more powerful. And the fan that he uses is the Noctua fan. So if you guys are into computer building, gaming systems and stuff like that, you know what Noctua is. It's a very great, powerful brand as a fan. It uses a Noctua fan. And then the LEDs and stuff like that, he built it all of the little unit. How do I get the best result with the KS Lemon Starburst? Are you growing inside or outside? What size containers? Lemon Starburst are very easy to grow. They're usually one of the most hardy variety out there. And guys, it produces like crazy. We have a lemon starburst challenge, and a few members grew plants that produce like 400 pods, 500 pods. One member said his plant has produced over 1,000 pods the whole season. And yeah, it's amazing. He showed me pictures of the plant and the pods that he harvested. 1,000 pods, guys, that's crazy. I've never got that much before in my life. I mean, off at lemon starburst. Yes, the fan is very quiet. It's a Noctua fan. And I actually, because I built gaming PCs and stuff like that, and I use that brand in my gaming computer. Trini, I have a pepper in a cracky system that refuses to flower. I'm using Alaska Bloom, but nothing. pH is fine. Not sure why it's not flowering. How big is it? Is it a big plant, because sometimes it won't flower until it's ready. And also, if you're using Alaska Bloom, are you using at the right stage? Because bloom is used when the plant is ready to produce flowers. If the plant is still growing, it's not it's not a good idea to use bloom yet. Once it start to flower, then you switch to bloom. That is the best result. If the plant is still growing, you can continue to use the grow. You can use the bloom if you want to, but then you want better results. You keep on using the grow until you start to see flowers and stuff develop, and then that means the plant is mature. Once it's at the mature stage, you switch automatically to bloom, and once you do that, it'll help the plants produce flowers. It helps it keep flowers, and it produce nice large fruits. So yeah, it depends. Do I get aphids in my import plants? I have before, and the reason is I brought them from the outside. Usually, if I grow inside, I follow the a certain method that I use, and it helped reduces the chances of getting aphids. Normally, aphids, they hitchhike uh, and go inside when you take your plants inside without the quarantine process. So you cut when I take my plants inside. I made a bunch of videos on this and how to take your plants inside. I rinse off the roots, I spray the plants, and then once the whole process is done, I use fresh soil that I know will not have any pests, and then I take my plants inside. When you do that, you're not going to get aphids. But if you just simply dig up your plants from outside and then take it inside, you're going to get some kind of pests because it could hitchhike, along with it, and then you can get all kinds of different pests inside. Cameron, so I just explained it. The best way to avoid aphids is not to bring them inside, and you um, just don't take plants inside without the quarantine process. You gotta just spray down the soil, get rid of all the soil that came from outside, and then spray it down with pyrethrin or some kind of bug spray. Treat it first before you take it inside, and then give it different soil, like the fresh soil for the indoor growing. That's the best way. Little garden on the prairies. Yes, I grew cucumbers indoors so many times. It's so easy. The videos that I show you how I grow the cucumber, that is exactly how I did it. I did not exaggerate. I did not add. I did not make it, anything out of the ordinary. What you saw in the video is exactly how I did it. It is very simple. When you grow cucumbers inside, make sure to choose a variety that are either gynoecious or parthenocarpic. And gynoecious are varieties that produce only female flowers. So basically, as soon as you see a flower, that is a cucumber. And parthenocarpic it produces both male and female, but it does not need to be pollinated to create the cucumber. As soon as you see the little cucumber with the flower and stuff like that, that is your cucumber right there. So it does not need to be pollinated. And those are the best variety to grow inside. If you grow any other varieties than those two, then you might have to hand pollinate. Hand pollinate is very difficult because sometimes you're gonna miss cucumbers, and then those will not become a cucumber. So yeah. Does microwaving the soil on the store work? Yes, it does, but the reason is microwaving it will kill the bad bugs and the good bugs. So it's kind of like a good idea, but also a bad idea. Plus, it gives your microwave a soil smell, so you may not want to do that. Just select the type of soil that you know is safe. Um, I use the Pro Mix. I think I've done a few videos on this already. The Pro Mix, which is the red Pro Mix for seed starting. And the reason I use that type of mix is because the bag that they use to bag them in is very nice and sturdy. Often you're not going to see any holes in them because when you buy bag soil at Home Depot, they leave it all outside and stuff like that. People would pick them up, drop them, and then there'd be holes in the bag, and then bugs can get in it. Of course, fungus gnats, and they'll lay eggs all over the place. And when you use those soil, you're gonna get fungus gnats all inside your tent. Yeah, Sheena, you should try to grow cucumbers. Cucumbers are so easy. They're one of my favorite, plants to grow because they grow super fast. There's certain varieties of cucumbers that produce cucumbers when they're like, you know, a few feet. They're really small, and they just produce cucumbers so fast. But as soon as you pick them, you get more cucumbers. You pick them, you get more cucumbers. Yeah, Johnson Garden Center and all of their soil bags are inside. That is a huge help. If you buy soil and they bag them and they leave them inside, it's a good thing because then it stayed out of the rain. It doesn't get holes in them, and possibly you don't get bugs in them. But yeah, a lot of the people that you don't realize that when you buy you know soil from Home Depot or Lowe's and stuff like that, and they just leave it where you can just pick it up and put in your cart and go. And the reason with they leave it there is just it's easy for them, I guess. But when they're sitting out like that, people pull at it, or people drop it, or they're just have holes in the bags or whatever, and you're gonna get fungus gnats in those type of soil for sure. I mean, I've had a really bad experience in the past, and I get like hundreds and hundreds of fungus gnats in the tent. I mean, I know how to treat them, so they're not really a big problem. But them flying around and stuff like that is really annoying. Fungus gnats only kill like the baby plants, the bigger plant, because they eat the roots. They chew on the tiny roots, so it kills the seedlings and stuff like that. But for large plants, they're not too much of a problem for large plants, but they are a huge annoyance, because they multiply very fast, and they just fly everywhere in your face. If you have them inside your grow tent. Let's see, Mimi. Saw your plans on propagating chili stick in the water, but all except one rooted. Can I do anything to prevent that or minimize the risk? Like, you want to improve the chances of them rooting? Yes, you can. What you can do is you want a good cutting meaning a mature cutting, not too old but not too young. So you want to cut a branch that has a little bit of like brownish on the bark. That means the branch is slightly mature and it roots much faster than if you cut the branch at the very tip. Because if you cut the branch at the very tip of the plant, it is a very young plant, it's very tender. And in the experience that I had, those are the ones that root. It takes the longest to root, and possibly it just never root at all. So if you take a more of a mature cutting, not too mature, but just mature enough, and also make sure the branch is straight and it has multiple nodes. Node meaning uh, the the spaces between each leaf. That is your node. If you have multiple nodes, it works better. Also, give it a good a spot so that it can have light. It needs really good lighting for it to propagate really well. So I usually put them under my arrow garden. I do like 3 or 4 cuttings at a time, and most of them would just root. So sometimes what I do is instead of overwintering my plants outside, I'll just take cuttings of the branches from the outside. I quarantine them, I rinse them off with soap, and then I put them into a cup of water and I put it under my grow light. And then they root over the winter. And then in the spring, I take them outside and I grow them. So, yeah, that's another way to do that. Rooting peppers is very easy. But the trick is to take a mature branch and not a young branch, because the young tender branch that are soft, they tend to not root very well. They will root, but it is less likely that they will than the more mature branch. But also make sure that the branch is straight. Don't take a branch that is curved like this. You know, take a straight branch, not a branch like this. The straight branch is better because it stands up, and you get leaves to grow on the side, and then branches will grow out like that. So once you have a successful cutting with roots, those branches will give your pepper the best chance of having a nice looking plant. Bossman, can you give more details about the filming method? So the filming method is a little bit different than the topping method. So I'll give you an example. So here, let's just say this is my plant, right? And topping it, meaning I'll go right here and I'll pinch it. That means topping it. But filming it is different. Filming it meaning I go to the tip of the leaves right here and I pinch the tip. Not topping it actually. I just film it, meaning just pinch it right at the tip right here of the growing tip. And what that does is it tells the plant that there's something missing at the top, and the branch on the side will start to grow, but you're not damaging any part of the plant. So what that does, it doesn't, cost the plant a little bit, it doesn't set back the plant at all because you're actually not cutting the top of it. So that's the only difference between topping and filming. Filming is just basically trimming the growing tip of the plant. The growing tip, just trim it, but not really cutting it. Let's see. Will, can you overwinter multiple pepper plants, like 3 or 4, in a 3-gallon bag? 3 gallons is just too small for 3 plants. But yes, you can. I mean, you can just trim the plants back to about this size, cut some of the roots back, and then you can put it into a 3-gallon pot. Yes, you definitely can. So, pepper plants are very tough. You can basically trim it all the way down to the trunk and it will still live. As long as there's like 1 or 2 leaves left behind, it'll be fine. So if you want to overwinter in a 3-gallon grow bag, which is very small, then you're gonna have to do a lot of trimming in order for it to fit. Oh man, is that William Beckham? Will, is that you, buddy? Mr. Scientist. I hope that's you. Man, I haven't seen you in a long time. Wow. You know what? Well, we were talking about you the other day. I was like, man, where is our scientist from back in the Google Plus day? We couldn't find you. But yeah, I'm glad you're here. Good to see you. Cheers, y'all. Okay, cool. That's great. You're still around. Good to have you. I thought you just quit, just quit social media, period. So yeah, Instagram. Okay, great. Allison, good to have you here. Let's see, Johnny Diamond. What's the hottest you let your tent go in uh the winter? What's the hottest? Are you asking like what's the hottest it can get inside my tent in the winter time? I think the hottest it would get with the light on and everything, it gets to around 70 something degrees in the warmest time. Yeah, so around 70 to 73 degrees. And then when the light is off and stuff like that, then it drops down to 50 something degrees and sometimes even 40s, occasionally in the high 30s, like 39, 38 degrees Fahrenheit, but rarely. But it usually stays around 55 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit inside my tent because I'm in Texas. Right now we go outside in shorts. So so yeah, Texas weather is pretty crazy. It's just some the other day it was so cold I had to turn on the heat, and then the next day after that I had to turn on the AC. So it's like one day heat, one day AC. What are my thoughts on living soil? Living soil is the best type of soil, period. There's nothing better than living soil. That is the gardener's dream to have to be able to make the backyard into living soil. It does take a long time, but it can happen. So you just have to work with what you have and eventually build up into the living soil. And then when you have that, you can you don't use fertilizer. You just use the bacteria that you have in your garden to help you do the work. That requires composting, worms and all that stuff. Yeah, so it's a good thing. All right, that's awesome. Vicious peppers, cool. I can't wait to have them. Chris has no right now. Chris lives in Norway, guys. If you get interested, Chris lives all the way up in Norway. So I think yeah, the temperature is pretty harsh over there. His summer is very short, so he always had to find new ways to grow pepper plants and all that stuff. The Pepper Lab, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Just a quick thank you for teaching me peppers. You're welcome. Thanks for the donation. Houston or Dallas? Dallas. Actually, I live in Houston, Austin, and Dallas. I've been all over the place. I'm making hot pepper powders right now. I'm currently drying. I have a Nesco dryer, so I'm drying Jay's Peach Ghost Scorpion and Bahamian Goats. Most of these peppers were sent to me by Jay on Pepper Lovers on Facebook. He sent me like a huge box of peppers that I did a video about recently. And yeah, I'm gonna make hot sauce out of those, and I'm also gonna make some pepper powder. All right, guys. So it's been an hour. Thank you so much for joining me. The kids are awake right now, so I have to go get them. I'm glad you guys are here on a Sunday to join me. Chris, let's talk soon, buddy. So I need to catch up with you. But thank you everybody for joining me on a Sunday, and I'll talk to you guys maybe next week. Bye, y'all.